Things I wanted to do is just give you some idea of my background and why I wrote the book Saving and Investing. I had originally studied engineering as an undergraduate, spent 5 years working as an engineer. I grew up in Canada. Then went to business school. I went to INSEAD, focused mainly on finance, and then was recruited out of INSEAD to work at Credit Suisse First Boston, CSFB in London, and then moved to Goldman Sachs and spent 9 years there. And one of the things that always amazed me during that time, and at Goldman Sachs I worked on the equities trading floor in London. I covered Swiss institutions, was responsible for the equities business in Switzerland for about 5 years, and also covered Scandinavian institutions. I was responsible for European equities in both those regions, and also the whole equities business jointly with someone in Switzerland for those 5 years. So that would include US shares and Asian shares, derivatives, and all products of that type. And I was covering institutional clients, meaning that my clients were big banks, insurance companies who would take the advice of Goldman Sachs and the things that we would say to them and I would say to them, and implement it in their investment approach on behalf of their clients or on behalf of themselves to generate returns. And during the time I was often ranked as their top counterparty or made Goldman Sachs their top counterparty based on my efforts and those of our team. But one of the things that have always amazed me, and I spent 9 years at Goldman Sachs and then left to start my own business and to write this book, and one of the things that always amazed me during that entire time was not so much what was happening within Goldman Sachs, because that was pretty straightforward and pretty clear, but what I was reading and experiencing from other friends and colleagues outside of the business, and particularly reading in the newspapers. And that is just that there is a huge amount of financial literacy missing among the general population. The fact is that most people don't know the difference between a stock and a bond, what a mutual fund is, what an index fund is, what all of these things are. And I found that quite concerning, because obviously it's spoken about in the press every day, it's spoken about all around us, it's the basis of our Western civilization. And the reality is it's the fact that savers make money available and that companies and governments as users of capital can use it has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and has allowed countries to be, ships to be built, for new worlds to be discovered. It's been the basis for our capitalist system in Western society literally for hundreds of years. And I found it quite worrying. Not only that, it is so important for achieving our financial goals, for saving and investing. If we have no knowledge of the subject, we're at the mercy really of anyone who claims to have some financial knowledge and who claims to be selling a product. And that's why I wrote the book, and so that's my background. I'm also a chartered financial analyst. I was the youngest graduate in the University of Toronto Mechanical Engineering program in 1989, and currently live mainly in London. That's my background. I really feel strongly about this subject. I think people should know more about financial matters, and the best way to get that information is from someone ideally who's not selling a product, but somebody who, either an academic or by going to school or by reading a book that's written in a very objective and straightforward manner. That's why I wrote the book that I think meets that objective, called Saving and Investing, and have a website called savingandinvesting.com.